Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got an incredible story for you, one that shows how a simple, random encounter can completely change your life. If you've ever felt like you're stuck or on the brink of giving up, this story might just give you the inspiration you need. So, let's dive right in. How a chance meeting at the airport changed my life forever. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be posting here, but something happened to me a few years ago that completely altered the course of my life. I'm still in disbelief when I think about it, and I wanted to share my story with you all. It's a bit of a wild ride, so bear with me. A little background: I was 26, stuck in a dead-end job, and honestly feeling pretty lost. I was working as a junior graphic designer at a small, failing agency. The pay was terrible, and the work was uninspiring. I had dreams of doing something bigger, working with major brands, creating designs that would be seen by millions, but I didn't have the connections or experience to get there. To be honest, I was on the verge of giving up on my dreams and settling for whatever came my way. One day, I had to take a last-minute flight to visit my parents in a different state. I was exhausted, mentally drained, and the last thing I wanted was to be on a crowded plane. I got to the airport way too early, so I found a quiet corner near my gate and plopped down with my laptop, hoping to catch up on some work. About 15 minutes later, a man sat down a few seats away from me. He was in his late 40s, wearing a sharp suit, and looked like he had his life together, exactly the opposite of how I felt. I didn't pay him much attention at first, but then he started having trouble connecting to the airport Wi-Fi. After a few frustrated attempts, he sighed loudly and looked over at me. "Excuse me, do you know how to get this Wi-Fi to work? I'm usually not this bad with tech, but today is just not my day." I chuckled and offered to help. After a few minutes of tinkering, I got his laptop connected, and he was genuinely grateful. We started chatting casually. He asked me what I did, and I gave him the usual spiel about being a graphic designer and my frustrations with my current job. I didn't think much of it, just small talk to pass the time. As we talked, it turned out he was the creative director at a large, well-known marketing firm. My ears perked up at that. This guy was working at the type of place I dreamed of being. But I didn't want to come off as too desperate, so I kept my cool and continued our conversation, steering it towards the type of work I enjoyed, the projects I was passionate about, and my desire to work on something more meaningful. I guess something about what I said caught his interest, because he asked to see my portfolio. I hadn't updated it in a while, but I figured, why not? I pulled up my website and showed him some of my best work. He spent a good 15 minutes scrolling through it, asking questions and giving me feedback. I could tell he was genuinely impressed. After what felt like an eternity, he closed my laptop and looked at me with a serious expression. "You've got real talent. We could use someone like you on our team. If you're interested, send me your resume and I'll see what we can do." I was stunned. Was this really happening? I tried to play it cool, but inside I was freaking out. I thanked him, exchanged contact information, and we parted ways when our flights were called. I couldn't believe my luck. This was the opportunity I had been waiting for, and it came out of nowhere. The next day, I sent him my resume and a more polished version of my portfolio. I didn't expect much, honestly. I thought maybe he was just being polite and nothing would come of it. But a week later, I got an email from him. He wanted me to come in for an interview. I flew out to their headquarters the following week, met with the team, and after a few rounds of interviews, I was offered a position as a mid-level designer with a significant salary bump. It was more than I could have ever imagined. Not only that, but the projects were exactly what I had been dreaming of: working with major brands, collaborating with talented people, and creating work that I was truly proud of. Fast forward a few years, and I'm now the lead designer at the firm. I've worked on campaigns that have been seen by millions, and I'm finally doing what I love at a company that values my creativity. That random encounter at the airport completely changed my life. If I hadn't been there at that exact moment, I don't know where I'd be right now, probably still stuck in that dead-end job, dreaming of what could have been. The moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of a random encounter. You never know when an opportunity might come your way, so always be ready to seize it. And don't be afraid to talk to strangers. You never know who might be sitting next to you. And that's the story of how one chance meeting turned everything around. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little motivation. Subscribe for more true stories and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.